All right, I'm back. And as you can see from the title of the Hangout, Chester Bennington, and I may have misspelled his name, commits suicide. And let's be real, that's what happened. A lot of media that reported this, they said Chester Bennington passed away, Chester Bennington dies, Linkin Park singer dies. He committed suicide. So, like, for example, the media, they love saying it's time to break the silence on suicide. But yet in their own media reports, they refuse to acknowledge what that is, and that's suicide. Now, I think it's really, when I heard the news, I was kind of shook, but I was more gutted that I was not going to get to see them. They were one of my few remaining bands left that that I used to listen to a lot, especially growing up, that I hadn't seen live yet. I've been fortunate enough to see most of them. I could have seen them in 2014, but I chose to do something else instead. I don't even remember what it is. But here's where I have a lot of sympathy. I have a lot of sympathy for Chester, and but mainly his children and his now widowed wife, and they're the real victims here. Oh, and Chester's band, because he fucked Linkin Park for what he's done. That they can't replace him. So, why do so many men kill themselves? Women do this too. 13 Reasons Why. I mean, schools out there are saying in this country, oh, we're writing to parents, we're writing letters to parents, advising them that children should not watch 13 Reasons Why. And this is part of the problem. You won't address the problem. Why are these kids, and even men, people in their 40s, committing suicide? Chris Cornell. I was going to say Michael Jackson, but he was murdered. Why is this happening? Why? Even someone with all that money. He's still in so much emotional pain, he kills himself. Now, we never hear about what kind of medication they're taking. You never hear that shit. They always go, we found alcohol or drugs, but they never talk about what kind of pharmaceuticals were they taking. Chester Bennington has obviously had issues his entire life, and he kills himself now. Doesn't make sense. I wonder if he changed his medication. But I do question, and I do question some of the hysterity about this shit. And I've talked about this before when wrestlers die. It's not like someone you know personally. It's not a family member. It doesn't affect your day-to-day life. Yes, you may never get to see Linkin Park live, and that sucks, but that's the extent of it. It's terrible. It's bad that a human being has had to take his own life because of depression, that fucked up black dog. And most people, you know what? Depression is very common. A lot of people, I've suffered from depression. Lots of people have suffered from depression. Most people have suffered from depression. But yeah, this reaction, it's a shame that other tragedies don't get the same kind of recognition and emotional fucking tributes and things like that. So the day after Chester Bennington killed himself, in fact, the same day, a really good friend of mine of over 10 years, who is married to one of my oldest friends, her husband, my friend, passed away from cancer. Now, he'd been fighting cancer for over a year. And he wasn't a rock star. He didn't have endless funds. We had to go fund me. We had to go fund me to try and get him basically to pay for his funeral, which I'm going to tomorrow. And he was 33. And he was a DJ. He was a man, a DJ. He could have been a father. He could have been all these things. He had so much of his life stolen from him. And that's why I start to really get, I go from sympathy for Chester Bennington to being offended by Chester Bennington. I have been in the lowest of low points in my life. I have been all through that shit, and I never took my own life. Brian Head from Korn talked about this. And Brian Head, a former heroin junkie, okay? The guy, research Brian Head. Brian Welch, sorry, not Brian Head. Head's his nickname. Brian Welch from Korn. He's been through it all, and he got through the other side. And a lot of people, in fact, I'm going to talk about this in another video. I'm going to make an entirely separate video on the gay culture that is known as metalheads. Duh. Fucking numpties. Sorry. But yeah, I get offended. And it's not so much like that the guy, you know, he has kids and shit, and it's just fucking giving up. And Jason died. I said his name, but rest in peace, Jason. Jason died and didn't even get a chance. He was taken. He didn't get cancer from smoking. He didn't get cancer from any of these things. The last year of Jason's life, many of these fucking people who have ended up taking their own lives, they wouldn't have been able to handle it. And he faced death with dignity and bravery, and he never gave up. And I will miss him for the rest of my life. But I will say that the suicide stuff needs to stop. We need to find a way to stop it. No one wants to talk about it. As men, it is very important that we sweat, that we work out, that we fucking feel useful. And these are all things that, you know, fucking, you need to just keep going. No matter how hard it is, you've got to keep going. You've got to. Because as far as we know, this is it. You have your faith. I'm not trying to argue with your faith. But as far as we can prove, this is it. And bad times don't last. They don't. I've been going through bad times for 7 damn years. I could have easily fucking given up, but I'm never going to give up. And members of my family, people I know. And, you know, I just, when I think about it, you owe it to everyone who has come before you to make the most of what you have, the time that you have. You have to make the most of it. You cannot let all that negativity drag you down. And that's why I said for men, it's very important that we sweat and work out, and where it's biking, training, any kind of training, going to the gym, fucking go for a walk, do push-ups every day before you have a shower. Try and just feel alive. Get that oxygen pumping around your body. Don't give up. I wish Chester Bennington didn't give up. I wish all these people who killed themselves didn't give it up. But I would much rather have my mate back. I'd much rather have a cure for cancer. And you can just get something like that at the snap of a finger, and your life changes, and you are terminally ill, and you're on borrowed time. We're already on borrowed time. So anyone, I see, you know, I've lost quite a lot of subs because I haven't made vids for a while. That's all good. But, man, there's a lot of depressed people out there, and any of them who are listening, like, don't ever give up. Even if your bad times last for years, it won't last forever. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if they even make sense. I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to put it out there. Rest in peace, Chester. But, you know, rest in peace, everyone else who's committed suicide this year because they couldn't escape the darkness. Rest in peace to everyone who died young from terminal fucking illness. So if you're not up to it, you don't feel good, talk to someone, something. Do it. You've only got one shot. So make it count. And remember, you feel like suicide. Just remember the people around you that it might affect.